and welcome to our commercial solar series. Today, we're going to be talking about the investment tax credit, which is the biggest incentive available for businesses and commercial projects when they're considering solar energy. The basic definition is that you will receive 30% of the cost of the system back in a tax credit. Now, an important distinction is it is not a deduction. It doesn't come off of your tax, it doesn't reduce your tax liability. It actually comes off of the tax liability. So it's dollar for dollar. So an example of that would be if your system costs $300,000, you would receive back $90,000 in an investment tax credit. Other people sometimes refer to it as an income tax credit. But either way, it's money that's going to be able to come off the total cost of your project, which makes the barrier of entry to getting into a solar project much more manageable. In addition to that, businesses have a few additional credits available, like the initial 30% is available for residential and commercial, where the domestic content bonus, that is only available for businesses, and that'll allow you an additional 10%. So in the previous example, you'd get the 90,000 for the 30% tax credit, and you'd get another 30,000 for a domestic tax credit. And the basics of the domestic tax credit is using U.S. Manufactured equipment. And there are actually quite a few steps and regulations to that, which we have another video that covers that, and I'll actually put that link in the description for you to take a look at. But it's another 10% that is available. Now, if for some projects it's not going to make sense, and again, I will cover that in that other video, but for as many that can, it's just, further reduces the cost of the system. You're already down to a 60%, net cost, which is amazing. So a couple of the other really important things to kind of consider. There is one other tax credit available for low income area projects. The only issue with that is it has to be submitted to the EPA for approval because it is a limited bucket. So once they approve that bucket amount, they will just deny the rest. So that is not a guaranteed credit, where the other ones are, one is guaranteed, the other one's super likely. And this one is, in my mind, will be a little bit of a hit or miss. So one of the new things that they came up with in the Inflation Reduction Act is the way that you can file that tax credit. Because, like, again, we're going to keep using that example. You have $120,000 to use. What if you are unable to take it all in one shot? And with some of our larger projects, sometimes those tax credits could range anywhere from 800,000 to 1.4 million, and you simply might not be able to realize it all in 1 year. So to make just a quick, simple distinction between the residential credit and the commercial one, on the residential side, you're able to carry that balance for 5 years. So every year you take what's available, and that addition, what's ever left, gets carried over to the next tax season. You have 5 bites at the apple. On the commercial side, they have made it so much more available, or so many more options for you to be able to recoup that tax credit. Again, this is a huge incentive. They want businesses incorporating solar, just like they wanted businesses to take advantage of the PPP program, the ones who did, so the enormous benefit from it. So these incentives, so long as you're willing to, make sure that you're able to realize it and take it, they're available. So you're actually able to go back 3 years. So in one sense, you get like 4 bites at the apple in one shot. You get this year plus 3 years prior. So over the last, in a sense, 4 tax seasons, there's a good chance you're going to be able to recoup that entire credit in one shot, which is always, amazing when you can do that. But again, in some of those larger ones where you're not going to have that ability to show that revenue to take that tax credit, you're actually then able to carry it for 22 years. They've simply eliminated the barrier of entry in terms of if you're able to get that tax credit. It's just more of a matter of when you're going to be able to realize it. So a few of the other things now to consider when you are looking to file. Now, it's always important to consult with your accountant. And if they are unfamiliar with the tax laws and everything regarding solar, either encourage them to get up to speed before they start advising you, or find one that does. And I'll actually have a link to a couple that specialize in this, so they really know all of the nuance laws and the ways of taking it to make sure that you're always put into the best position possible. So when you're going to file, there's really two main forms that you are going to that you're going to be utilizing. One form is the renewable energy production credit, or form 8835, and the other form will be 3368, the investment credit. And again, your accountant will be able to differentiate which form or forms, you may need both, that you'll need when you go to file. I'll actually put links to those forms in the description as well. So those are the basics in terms of what the federal tax credit is available for commercial businesses. And again, we're going to go into a little more detail on that domestic content bonus, because there is a lot of nuance that you need to cover to be able to get it. And we will go through all of the ways and things that you'll need to do to get that one as well. See you in the next one.